What's going on, guys? BOR Leclerc here, and today, I know it's a bit late, but like for considering how long ago it happened, but this is my URL F2 Season 2 Round 2, a lot of twos in there, highlights at China. As you can see, we're currently in 9th place, and this is my best lap here. So we've obviously gone through the first few corners, very tight and twisty. Try and take a tighter line there so that I get better traction. Now into the first sector, and we've gone purple, and we're up by about a tenth and a half or something like that. I can't quite read that there on the preview screen. Anyway, going through the S's here, trying to take as much speed as possible. I was a bit stupid and lifted a bit through the first part of it, which was not good. So that would have cost me time. And then, as you can see, we run a little bit wide there, but it's okay because normally if you run wide onto that bit, you lose a bit of time. Now into the middle sector, we're still a tenth up by the looks of it. Excuse me, got a bit of a hiccups here. And now we're going on to the long straight, and yeah, we're holding a good line here, not the ideal line, as we just avoid a wheel in the middle of the circuit there, and an AI. And is there going to be a car pulled over the side of the road? No, it's further back if you look at the mini-map. Anyway, you've got to spot your braking point here. Going into the hairpin, down into second gear. Ran a bit wide into the corner, but if you run deep, you do tend to get better traction out of the corner. Going through the final corner, DRS open, and across the line, and we only just improved, which is good because the other set of tyres we did had done about 3 laps on them, which means we would have had worse tyres. So as you can see, 9th place in qualifying, but I believe we're going to start 8th because Ben, it says he's first with a 5-second penalty, 5-place penalty, but as you can see, he's not actually posted a time. So I'd imagine he's probably going to be starting at the back, maybe. Anyway, so that's your qualifying order. Now onto the race. As you can see, got a bit of intermittent showers going on. So 5 red lights are coming on, and away we go now. Here we go. So we hook up a decent launch compared to SRL Matthew. And of course, bloody McLaren of upstage, I think that was, just lags back and forth there. As you can see, some people have ran a bit deep there. We've jumped quite a few people, and as you can see, we have somehow managed to go from 8th on the grid, I think it was, up to P3 in the first couple of corners. So that's a fantastic start for us, at which point I thought, right, quali pace, obviously I didn't maximise it, so let's just focus on the race, because I knew in race trim I'm always a lot better than what I am at qualifying. You can ask anyone that I've raced against, they'll always tell you I do better in race pace. I don't know why I do better at race pace, I just do. Anyway, so we're going through the S's here. We've got to be careful not to spin off here because we don't want to lose any body parts or anything from our car. So we're going through the left-hander here. As you can see, we're just about keeping up with Sammy, and I believe that's Elite Shay in first place. And Elite Shay's had a wobbly moment. Sammy's going for a move there. He goes a bit deep. Elite Shay obviously dodges it. And then we've got to watch out for Sammy rejoining the track, so I think we're momentarily up into second place, but I think Sammy's going to come back at us a little bit here, is he? Yeah, he's still alongside us there, as Elite Shay has another wobbly moment coming onto the straight there. And now, basically, we're in Rich Mix, we're slipstreaming Elite Shay. He's gone defensive already, we've took the slipstream a bit longer, and then we're just going to pull out of the slipstream just so that if he breaks early, we don't hit him. But as you can see, he's ran a bit too deep into the corner, and within 1 lap we have gone from 8th place on the grid up to, I believe that is first place. Yes, it is, as we run a little bit wide there, but we lifted off just a little bit just to like negate any potential advantage given or gained, I should say. And Sammy's having a look at us, but he just can't make it, and Elite Shay has dive bombed him a bit there. I'm not sure if you would have been paying attention to the chats or whatever on URL, but Sammy wasn't best pleased with Elite Shay's driving because he felt it cost Sammy the chance of a decent podium, maybe even a win, because Sammy had to pit several times for new front wings due to contact with Elite Shea. Anyway, so we've purple sector 1, although it doesn't stay purple for long because someone's obviously done a little bit better than us on lap 2. Anyway, as you can see, we're slowly pulling the gap up. We've run a little bit wide here, but it's not too bad. We're going into the double left-hander here, so we've got to be careful not to exceed the track limits too much. Otherwise, we could get a penalty of some sort. Anyway, so as we look back, yeah, and we've pulled off a pretty decent lead here. So we've got a nice sizable gap there. Run a little bit deep there, missing the apex. It's okay, though. We clip the apex there. And then we take our tighter line here, picking up some tips from JD's wet race at Australia, where he took a tighter line at some corners, which gave him better traction and a better run at the flying fin. So we're applying that kind of logic here to at some of the corners, just so that we, obviously post faster lap times. And now we'll spot our braking point going into the hairpin. And yeah, we've gone a bit deep there, but it's not too much of an issue because, as you can see, we're slowly building up a nice decent gap. Now I know what you're thinking, oh, here he goes, he's going to win, I better turn off and all that. Don't turn off, because the end of the race does not end as you would expect it to. Anyway, on to lap 4, end of lap 4 I should say, and it's now time for the slick tyres. So we're going to box for a set of softs, and yeah, now there's probably, yeah, our teammate's boxed as well, so he's going to have to stack behind us. Hopefully we've got enough of a lead over him so he doesn't get held up too badly. But anyway, we come in, and as you can see, James Bear has continued on a set of inters, which is interesting. Atomic Ship, our teammate, is now just came in, but unfortunately he will lose time due to stacking. And now we just come out on the end of lap 5 after pitting, and now it's just a case of, yes, that's the end of that lap. So we don't quite improve there, but then that's our first lap on these tyres. So I believe now it's just going to be a case of when people set fastest laps, it's going to be whoever crosses the line last will set the fastest lap. So we've just got to push hard and try not to lose too much time to the cars behind, because they're behind us, they're going to post quicker times than us as the track basically goes from being green to being rubbered in. And yeah, as you can see right there, Atomic Ship, fastest lap just after we'd set it. So it's just going to be a case of whoever's last across the line will basically post the fastest lap of the race until the track's rubbered in to a point where improving is going to be extra difficult. So yeah, on to the end of lap 7 now, and yep, here we go, fastest lap, but then Atomic Ship will come around the final corner and he will beat it as well, as you can see right there. So as you can see, we're just trying to minimise the loss to Atomic Ship, because every time we cross the line he's just posting a faster time than us, because he's getting the track rubber in advantage a little bit more than what we are. End of lap 9, same story again here, yep, fastest lap, and then Atomic Ship's going to beat it. As I believe SRL Matthews joined after lagging out. So yeah, on to the end of lap 10, and this time it's just a green, so we don't set the fastest lap, but Atomic Ship does, so we've had a pretty poor lap compared to him, as he's now closing in on us, and this time on the end of lap 12 we don't even improve our PB. So either the tyres are going off or we've got an issue, and we're now coming up to a back marker as we get some team radio.
Blue flag, blue flag, blue flag.
So yeah, that's us lapping Riggin was, but as you can see there's a glitch with the leaderboard at the top left where it said he was in first place, which wasn't the case. So I'm not sure what's gone on there, but either way, it's we knew we were in first place and that he was a lap down, so just ignore the fact that it says he's second, because he ain't. So anyway, on to the end of lap 17, and yeah, we've ran deep, and we do have our teammate now nipping at our heels here, so we've got to go defensive here, because as you can see also, it started to rain again. So if we don't watch what we're doing here, he could jump us, and then that means he gets preferential pit strategy when it's time for the inters. So we brake early because I didn't want to risk going side by side through that corner, but as you can see he's ran a bit deep, so obviously us ducking out of it put him off or something, and he's basically gone in too deep. James Bear has retired from the race, as you just saw there on the screen. And that, as you can see, he's also left the session, so he's obviously not happy. So we're on lap 18, and it's just a matter of trying to keep our teammate behind us, just so that we don't have to stack behind him or anything when it's time for the inters. So we ran a really good race here. So I mean, we've pretty much dominated. I think the only time we haven't led the race was on the first lap, or before the end of the first lap, and then just through the pit stop phases at the moment. So it'd be a shame if we were to lose this race. Anyway, on to lap 20, and it's now time for the inters. So we're going to bail in for some inters. As you can see, other drivers have done the same, apart from Camaroni, I think that says. I can't quite see on my preview screen. Anyway, so we're pitting lap 21, time for some inters. And Atomic Ships just lagged out of the session, unfortunately, so there goes our 1-2 finish, unfortunately. So, yeah, we're going to come out of the pits here, and I believe we maintain the lead. Yes, we do. We've just got such a big lead, and we're going to fast forward to the end of lap 25, and it's now slick time again. So we're going to pit for a set of super softs here. And I believe we're just going to come out just behind Expert Almond, who I believe had been on those super softs for quite a bit of time, probably 2 or 3 laps prior to me. So his supers won't be in as good a nick as mine. So here we go. Yeah, we're coming out of the pits, and there goes Expert Almond, and then there goes us. And now I believe we're going to cut to the end of lap 27, because this is the controversial moment where, yeah, we're closing in on. We've obviously caught Expert Almond up, but if you look at this precise moment here, yeah, he has taken all 4 wheels off of the track, and as you can see, he is pulling away, which means he's gained an advantage, because if he hadn't cut the corner, the speed I carried, I would have started closing in on him, especially with DRS. So that's one case for a penalty, and I'll go into the ins and outs of it later, because I actually want to talk about it, and I will talk about it. So you best be prepared to listen to what I've got to say, because it's just wrong that he's well, I'm going to spoil it for you now. He got away with that, but he also got away with another incident that you will see towards the end of this lap, which we're going to ride on board for the duration of. As you can see, throughout the lap, he's been braking incredibly early, and as that was the case also with the like, you know, the laps that I was catching him, and even on the previous lap where I was right behind him, was just braking extremely early. And then I've had to brake early in anticipation for him braking early, so that I don't lose my front wing. As you can see, we'll run a little bit wide there, but it's not too bad. I mean, he's going to possibly get improvised a little bit by a back marker there. So, yeah, as you can see, he's slipped trying to get past the back marker, but the back marker ain't giving up. So, yeah, Almond goes through. I then follow him through. I basically take the racing line, and then we're going to come round the final corner, and then this is where he gets really dirty. And basically I pull out of the slipstream. I've got the momentum, and then he just gives me a nudge, which is enough to cost me my momentum that I had, because if he hadn't done that, I would have pulled past him and won the race. Anyway, here's the race results, and I'm going to get into the ins and outs of it all in a second, so I'll be back to give you a little opinion and the championship standings. So yeah, as you can quite clearly see, 4 wheels off of the track. That is a corner cut and should be a 5-second time penalty, which the stewards awarded, but Charlie, AOR Charlie, as you probably well know from racing in TMF Marduk's ASR League, decided, no, I won't give him a penalty because people were complaining, and I've got to cave into the pressure of people complaining. So, yeah, unfortunately, I was given the win, but then it was taken away from me. Now, the fact that I didn't win isn't what bothers me. The thing that bothers me is the fact that A, Charlie has undermined us, like, well, not us, but like the stewards, and B, he's effectively caved into people complaining. Now, that's not good stewarding or league running or whatever, because if he does that, people go, oh, if we complain enough, then Charlie will overturn the decision. So, yeah, that they're going to keep trying this shit now if things don't go their way in the hopes that it gets overturned. And, well, it almost worked because in the next race at Bahrain in the GP4 category, which I'm a coordinator for, what happened was that basically, yeah, someone got DSQ'd for reasons out of our control. He demanded a restart. We said no, so he started bitching at Charlie, saying, please tell them to restart and all that. So it's just proved my point. So yeah, now we've got a situation on our hands where if people don't get their way, they'll bitch to Charlie thinking he'll overturn their decision. I mean, like, when I was told, they were just like Charlie said, well, here's my team radio after the race.
Charlie said,
Yeah, you know what? Here's the message for Charlie. Off, honestly, off.
So yeah, that's my message to the AOR Charlie, and also to top it off, before I give you the drivers and constructor standings, I'm just going to say, this race I have effectively been wrongfully robbed of a victory that was thoroughly earned in a race that I totally dominated. So yeah, I'm going to give you the drivers and constructor standings, and I'll see you next time.